President Donald Trump claimed to have brought peace between Thailand and Cambodia in October 2025. Well, the two countries did sign a formal joint declaration in Kuala Lumpur after several months of heavy fighting. They ended this conflict on the 26th of October. But on the 7th of December, fighting once again broke out between the two countries, trumping the peace deal. And the reason for this skirmish? It started with a firefight that killed and injured Thai soldiers. It prompted Thailand to launch F-16 airstrikes on Cambodian military targets. Now, clashes spread along this 800-kilometer border between the two countries, involving artillery shelling, cluster munitions, and drones. Now, fighting continues with cross-border shelling and air raids, and patrol boats being used to shell coastal targets. Now, dozens of soldiers have been killed on both sides, and hundreds of thousands of civilians have fled the borders to safe shelters. Now, both Thailand and Cambodia accuse the other of starting the violence and targeting civilians. What's at the root of this conflict? Well, the border disputes between Thailand and Cambodia date back to the colonial era. They are rooted in a treaty concluded in the early 20th century between what was called Siam then, Thailand today, and French Indochina, which controlled Cambodia. Now, the treaty aimed to define the border along the Dang Rek Mountains watershed. But French maps placed areas like an ancient Shiva temple, Preah Vihear, that was built by the Khmer kings of Cambodia, despite accessibility from Thailand, inside Cambodia. Now, in 1962, the International Court of Justice, the ICJ, awarded Preah Vihear to Cambodia. This temple was left in Cambodian hands, but the surrounding areas were left ambiguous. Now, this fueled ongoing tensions between Thailand and Cambodia. And sporadic clashes occurred in the 2000s around this temple. Thousands were displaced, deaths were caused. The fighting resumed once again in 2025 because nationalist sentiments on both sides that are tied to these ancient Khmer temples have often escalated minor incidents. Now, in 2025, we saw some of the heaviest fighting erupting between the two countries. Began in July 24th, where the most intense fighting was recorded in over a decade. It involved artillery, tanks, rockets, and of course, airstrikes by the Thai military that used US-made F-16 jets. Dozens have died, and reports vary, which say that at least 48 people have died and hundreds of thousands have been displaced now. Fighting continues on date because they are rooted in strong religious and cultural sentiments. The situation remains volatile with risks of full-scale escalation and mutual distrust and nationalist rhetoric amplifying tensions. There have been international calls from the UN, the EU, and ASEAN urging restraint. And US President Trump has said that he would make a peace, and US President Donald Trump said that he would make a phone call to the two sides to stop the fighting. Well, Trump should remember the experience of another US President, George W. Bush, who pronounced mission accomplished a bit too early.